When you open a project for the first time in Android Studio, it can seem daunting. So this is why we're going to have a little introduction to the UI and to the layout of Android Studio. So the most important part of the layout of Android Studio is, of course, this thing in the middle, Code Editor. This is where you'll be spending most of your time. And right now it looks different than what you would see when you create a new project, because I'm in the middle of the project and I configured a lot of things just to be able to showcase a bit of the features of Android Studio. So if you don't see these codes right now, don't worry about it. We will actually write this file later in the course, but just to showcase how it looks like, this is the code editor. And when you have different files, you can see the name of them up here and you can switch between them. A pretty good shortcut to know, I use it a lot, is Command Tab. You can also use it to switch between all these open files. And Code Editor doesn't only show the code. Right at the top corner, right here, you can see you can switch between split screen. So it shows the preview of the layout that you're building. And this only applies if your file is the code of a layout. So for example, here I can see no preview because this is not a layout. And you can also switch to just see the layout for some reason. And you can zoom in them just to have a bit of more detail. But right now I just switch it back. So this is Code Editor. The next thing is this right here, Toolbar. We will use it a lot. And you can see your project name here and you can switch between recent projects. You can see your current Git branch if you're using Git, and you can switch between Git branches also from here. The name of your device or emulator will pop up here. We will cover later how to create emulator. Probably you won't see anything at the beginning right here, but when you create an emulator or when you connect a device, you would see the name here. That's where your code will run. And running the code is via this. So when you are ready to see how your code looks like on the device, you click run and it runs your code, installs the app actually on this emulator or device. And this right here is debug. So instead of running the app, you would debug the app. We're not going to go into it. That's quite for the future. But just so you know, if you want to debug, this is the button for it. Another useful thing is settings. So the settings of the Android Studio itself is from right here. Now, other UI elements are everything that you see around Android Studio. These are called tool windows. So on the left, at the bottom, and on the right. For example, the project window. This will open up the files and folders and packages on the left side. You can see based on category, your codes, your configuration files, your resources and everything. And they are not actually representing the file hierarchy that you would see on your drive. And that's because by default, the project window opens in Android view. So there are a lot of different views that you can have. We're not going to go to all of them, but two very important ones that I myself use all the time. One is Android and the other one project, when I want to see the exact file hierarchy that I would see on my drive. So I can see exactly what files and folders are under my project. And when you open them, for example, let's open this code. When you double click, it opens in the code editor. So that's the project window. Another useful one, if you're using Git, is commit. This is where your uncommitted files will appear and you can commit them with a commit message. After that, we can have a look at LogCat. This is where you see the logs in the device or emulator that you've connected. This is very useful if you want to look at potential errors that are being logged. We will come back to it a bit later. Other important one is terminal. If you want to run some terminal command for some reason, so you can write your commands right in the editor. You don't even need to leave Android Studio to open a terminal. And then we have git log on the left side. Might be a bit confusing because we had git commits up there, but git log is separate down here. You can see all the history and also select each branch and see the git log per branch. And on the right side, a couple of important ones are device manager. This is where you would create emulators and manage the devices in general. So probably when you open it right now, you will see it completely empty. We will create the emulator later and you will see it here. And when your emulator is running, you can see it right here. So this is an emulator. I can control it, I can run the app here. This doesn't only show the emulators, it also mirrors the connected devices. But we will come back to it later. And then we have a status bar at the bottom. Quite a lot of useful information will be down here. For example, the file that you have open, you can see its path right here. And when there is a process going on, for example, if you're compiling the app, you would see the progress bar here. It looks like this. And if you press on it, it opens. And lastly, we have the menu bar. Like every other software, it has its own menu. I don't use it personally a lot because there is a lot of overlap between the functionalities here and the functionalities that you get from all these other tools, and also shortcuts that you can use. But it is there just in case if you need it. So this was it, a bit of introduction to Android Studio, and I hope you feel a bit comfortable with it just to continue from here.